Ready. Play.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Tennis. Stefanos Tsitsipas versus Arthur Fils. It is 8:38 in the morning where I am at in San Diego, and joining me again is my co-host of the Ika and Carlos Tennis Show, Damien. And Damien has just gone to go get some water, and he is back. And there he is. Hey, Damien. There we are.
I didn't hear anything that you said, by the way. I don't know if there was anything I should have replied to. Or...
No, basically.
Okay, good. That's good. No, because I just put on my earphones and I wasn't sure what was happening. So yeah, Vansh probably told you why we are here. I mean, you can read, presumably. You can see the title. If you manage to find us, you probably can read. So yeah, we're going to watch Tsitsipas against Fils. And why is it so exciting, I guess?
Well, I mean, for many reasons. I mean, Fils is one of the most electric players to watch, just in general. I mean, he's had a breakthrough year, like basically jumped about 200 spots in the rankings. He's very good indoors, good on clay, and actually both of these players are very
good
similar.
Everywhere.
Yeah, good everywhere, basically. I mean, and one of the players who is going to likely continue that trend, and I'm very curious to see how it matches up against Tsitsipas, who's been playing better this week and in much better form. These conditions seem to suit him well indoors, and so I'm fascinated to see this one.
Yeah, I really hope that Fils will be competitive here. Do I believe it? Competitive, yes, but I do like these conditions for Tsitsipas a lot. I think he finds himself in them much better than he did in Stockholm last year, even though he made the final there. So I think that's probably the correct choice for him going forwards if he's going to play in this week, or Tokyo if he wants to, but that's probably going to ruin his Basel or Vienna chances. So I guess he would probably want to stay in Europe, unless he would go really deep in Shanghai maybe. But anyway, basically what I'm trying to say is that I think Tsitsipas might be a little too strong. I know he has had a rough patch recently, but I think he might be also, I think he also might be matching up well against Fields, but that's just more of a guess.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if Fils will really be able to punish him, and like Tsitsipas can serve, well enough, and that he can then rush the Frenchman. And I don't know how his ground strokes will respond. Fils has been somewhat untested too, like against Varias. Obviously, it wasn't really much, and against Layal, he actually wasn't the better player for the most part in that match. He was just more clutch. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that he hasn't been entirely convincing.
Yeah. Tsitsipas getting a few looks at second serves and is protecting the backhand, I think, a little bit better this week. That could be down to the conditions, could also be just him adjusting his return position a little bit more than he tends to do normally. I'm interested to see what does happen when Fils starts making big first serves, and can Tsitsipas keep up that level of returning? Yeah, a couple of big first serves for Fils, but Tsitsipas gets this return back in play with his forehand. And now he's on the defensive, and oh wow, he comes up with a really good running forehand pass. Was scored. Yeah, that was a really good movement and defensive work. Yeah, this is one other thing is also he was hitting his forehand really well against his previous match. Why am I blanking on his previous match? What was that? Hoffman. Yes.
And second round was Botic van Zandschulp.
Yeah. Hoffman, who beat him in Mallorca. So.
Yeah, Hanfman looked really lost in that match against Steph, but
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes here. Certainly, a decent start already generating a breakpoint, and that running forehand pass as well.
Yeah. He closes the net nicely on that one. Good drop shot as well. Tsitsipas was way behind the baseline, and then nice finish in the open court.
Yeah, I think on the previous point, when he got past, he was maybe a little too far away from the net than he would have liked after the approach shot. Of course, Stefanos did very well to capitalize on that. But here, I guess he was just a little more cautious and never allowed Stefanos to have that sort of a look.
Yeah. Pick serve down the tee, gets the ace.
Yeah, and this technically wouldn't be the biggest win of Fils' career because he beat Ruud in Hamburg, where I think Ruud was like number 4 or something like that. But we can sort of it's arguable if he beats Tsitsipas indoors, whether it's better than Ruud in Hamburg. That's a topic for discussion. That it's definitely not obvious.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely not obvious. That's like saying I mean, who had the better career so far? Tsitsipas or Ruud? I mean, I would say
that's actually not even obvious. I mean, one has 3 Grand Slam finals, the other 2. I guess it's still Tsitsipas because of the 1,000 titles and ATP finals. It's actually not that close, I guess, even though Ruud has 1 more Slam final. But
the 3 more big titles, and then just many more semis, and better in the 1000s too. So
yeah, if Ruud wins one of these slams, then we can start talking. But maybe yes. But obviously there's also other factors. But like that was a quarterfinal of a 500. That would be a semi of a 250. Yeah, basically it's really up for discussion. But anyway, this would be his second. This would be his second top 10 win anyway. He's only played a top 10 opponent 3 times. And the loss was against, I don't remember who now. Was it Sinner? Sinner was in the top 10?
Yeah.
Already when they played? Yeah. I didn't know if Sinner was already in the top 10 by then. But
yeah, I think he was.
Because at the beginning of the year, I don't think he was, right?
No, he wasn't. He was not even in
like
the top
16th or something like that, yeah. So actually, no, it's not Sinner. Sinner was 12 when they 17th when they played in Montpellier, and then 12th when they were supposed to play again in Marseille, and Sinner withdrew. But the other top 10 match that Fils has, Rune in Rome. I remember that. That was not really close. Yeah,
that was not. He didn't have chances in that one.
I was expecting it to be, but it didn't deliver. I mean, Fils didn't deliver.
Yeah. Obviously, Tsitsipas finally, well, I guess not finally, but he's kind of gone back and forth between getting Philippoussis on board and not, and now he's finally settled on having his dad with him.
I don't really have an opinion on that. I mean, there's definitely been instances when we could see that his dad could have some sort of a negative impact on him mentally, or just in
there's
terms
2
of
or 3
maybe
matches in particular where I felt like it really got in his way. 2 or 3
chaos in the
big matches.
box. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess by that we can sort of assume that maybe it's not great for him, but at the same time,
the Medvedev match in Rome, where there was a lot of back and forth, and it was basically Apostolos just yelling instructions, and Tsitsipas, not really.
I'm getting some reverb right now. Is there anything like outside of your window or no?
Yes.
Okay.
There's going to be some noise. Actually, unfortunately, there's some construction. in my
Yeah,
neighborhood.
if that's the case, then we can't do anything about it. I just wasn't sure if it's an equipment thing or not. What are y'all watching much on? Where are you watching much?
I'm watching it on tennis TV. So
Yeah, and that's what we can recommend. Of course, it is a premium service. You gotta pay for the subscription. And
yes,
TOPs said that Root had all those achievements in the last 2-3 years. Steph has been around for much longer. Does that, that's supposed to be positive for Root? I mean, you're right. Certainly. I guess most of us are just assuming that it won't continue. That next 2 years he's not making 3 more slam finals. But who knows? That's
what's
up to
strange is
him.
actually, I mean, these two have never played each other in almost 2.5 years now, which is a long time.
Tsitsipas and Root.
Yeah.
Monte Carlo wasn't it that much?
No, they played each other twice in 2021. One was in Madrid, which Rude
Oh,
actually won,
Madrid. Okay,
and
yeah.
then in Toronto, where Steph won
Yeah,
pretty.
I knew it was something on European clay, but I couldn't remember what. Well, the second service game for Fils is going much smoother for sure.
Yeah.
And earlier today, in the first Antwerp semi-final, we had Bublik beating Marterer 6-4, 6-4. Slightly easier
Yeah.
than expected, right? For sure.
Yeah, I
Um,
was expecting maybe a tighter match than that.
Yeah, me too. Marterer seemed to be in amazing shape, and also the Antwerp court's probably very good for him. Also, no top 100 return for him yet, but he has every chance of doing that pretty soon.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if I'm talking tennis, but I've definitely had this talk on with Jakub on the Challenger show before, where we sort of just was thinking, what's worse about Marterer right now than when he was 45th in the world, and I think the answer is not much really. Like I most certainly don't think there's a huge gap between these two players. So
Just
uh,
consistency.
I don't even know. I mean, if you see him at like 120 in the world, it certainly doesn't mean that he cannot play tennis like he did, back then anymore. I mean, what did he really do on the main tour other than the Munich semi and Roland
Roland
Garros
Garros.
round four, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that was basically two results.
Those are the two that I remember. Yeah. And
Yeah,
he beat Shapovalov and Roland Garros, right? Was that in the
yeah, lost to Nadal, I think,
Nadal, but actually got him to a tiebreak, which
one
was
set. Yeah.
decent achievement. Yeah.
And yeah, I don't really think there's that much of a difference between that player and the player we have right now. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a bit of it's surprising that he hasn't been in the top 100 for 4 years now, over 4 years, in fact. But of course,
Did he
he
ever
has
beat
every
Kyrgios
chance.
on grass? I think he might have been Nick on grass.
Um,
Maybe Stuttgart somewhere. Maybe I'm
Sounds like
wrong.
a match. I mean, Martera definitely had a bit of a run in Stuttgart one year, but his grass records I know aren't that good. Like
Yeah.
before the last couple of years when he qualified for Wimbledon twice, his grass records were awful. Well, actually, Stuttgart he lost to Kyrgios in 3 sets. Yeah,
In 3 sets. Yeah. But it was a
second
tight
round.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then until 2022, I mean, he was doing nothing on grass, and then the last couple of years, winning at least a round at Wimbledon. This year, losing to Alexander Bublik in the third round.
Mm.
He's like one of these surprisingly well. He's like one of these very aggressive, big serving players who actually don't do well on grass at all. And it used to be Jari Hanfman as well, but this year they actually had some results finally.
Yeah. Yeah. This was the tournament where I watched Tsitsipas play for the first time at the tour level.
Antwerp?
When in 2017 when he got to the semis and he played that epic match against Gofan and
Hmm.
ended up winning.
I don't know if I remember that honestly. 2-6, 7-6, 7-6. Beat Ivo Karlovic via retirement, and I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely remembered some Tsitsipas matches from 2018, but
Yeah.
17. Is there
In
any
2018,
particular
2018
memory?
he won Stockholm. He beat Fognini and Gobas.
Yeah, Toronto was of course big, or
Yeah,
Montreal
Barcelona
or
too.
whatever.
Barcelona
Oh yeah,
was
Barcelona final already, in 2018. Like by
yeah,
then, I was definitely very aware of him, but
yeah.
2017, I'm not actually sure if he was on my radar, so to speak. That these weren't the days when I was already following challengers on a daily basis. No, not yet. Oh no, actually, when he played Karlovic at the French, I definitely watched that in round one. But that wasn't really. Um,
Mm,
he wasn't like making huge
yeah.
impact yet. So sometimes glancing through these records is pretty funny. I mean, for example, in April 2017, he loses in the opening round of two consecutive challengers to Kimmer Kopejans, and it's not really close. The year later, he makes the final in Barcelona.
Yeah. Mm,
To winner from Arthur Fields, but of course it doesn't end up making it over. He doesn't end up making it over the net, but
yeah.
could have been a very fun point. Still,
Yeah.
it's
Makes
an
the
easy
first
hold
time.
for
Okay.
Tsitsipas. Yeah, I think a lot of service games of Steph are probably going to look like that here. So this is part of why I'm a little. Well, I'm not as hopeful for Fields here as I usually would have been, but we'll see. Great volley to win the first point of the fifth game for sure. This time he covered the forehand pass from Steph very well. Obviously, a very different direction, but uh,
Yeah.
no peppering the Tsitsipas backhand and
Yeah.
actually not winning the point.
Actually managed to get the slice decently low there. Although, it's not.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that was just random though, and I think a
Yeah.
lot since it was he didn't actually get a clean. He didn't. Or actually on watching it on replay, I think he actually did. I
Yeah.
kind of underestimated the shot. So I guess yeah, indeed that was one of the um, normal Tsitsipas slices, like ones that actually do damage.
Yeah. And then now you see the next point where he's, having to defend on it and looks rushed. He's not in great position. You just have to hit it heavy and deep. And then you know that you
Yeah,
usually will be safe because he's not going to hurt you. And it's going to be tough for him to absorb that pace.
yeah, and feels likes that direction in the first place, but like when you see him with this sort of a +1 forehand here, pretty short ball down the middle, you knew where he was going. And Tsitsipas also knew where he was going, but sometimes it's not enough. He tries to block the
No,
next return and it just doesn't land. Sometimes you're like, maybe you had this too, but sometimes after watching a Tsitsipas match, you kind of wanna tweet something, but is it really worth it tweeting, for the umpteenth time that Stefanos Tsitsipas cannot block return, cannot slice?
I don't know.
I
It's
mean,
just it's not getting any better. It's
yeah,
that's the reality of it. It's just
it's hard to avoid repeating yourself in the case of Tsitsipas, but sometimes when I watch his block return, it's just, yeah,
mm.
on
But that's
clay,
why
of course.
I think I don't even know whether he should block. I think he should just take that risk and just go way deep on second serve return and just protect the backhand a little bit. Work himself into the point to
That
where
wasn't the second though, right? That was just the first.
yeah. On the first, I would say on the first you have to block. I mean, you
Kinda
can't.
has to, yeah. I
There's
don't
no
think he would
reason
have more
otherwise.
success like moving even more forward into the court and trying to. I don't know. Maybe in long term, if he like tries to do it and actually manages to learn sort of. Whoa,
Look at this
that's
changeover right here.
yeah.
Have
Okay.
you seen that?
There's
That
people dancing on the not
yeah,
streets but on the venue on the court of Antwerp.
yeah,
Is that a regular happening here? I don't
yeah.
know actually.
I
I
don't know.
watched
I've not been.
less of Antwerp than I did of Stockholm. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Um, But I did watch Fils against Layal, actually, even on a stream, and I here on Talking Tennis. So I don't think it was the case.
Hmm.
So that was the match from Antwerp that I watched most closely, and then yeah, I don't think this was happening. I also definitely watched some Marterer or Bubli and Pechi Pericard's run. Maybe I was lying. Maybe I
Yeah, I
actually
feel like I
watched
would have
more
seen this
Antwerp
on
than
Twitter if it
Stockholm.
was happening throughout the week.
Yeah, possibly. And yeah, for a moment I just couldn't remember if I watched any Antwerp matches, but now I'm actually realizing that I probably watched more Antwerp than Stockholm after all.
Hmm.
After you had Pechi Pericard here, you had Layal
Yeah.
winning their first main tour matches. Arthur Fils is definitely on top of my viewing list most of the time as well.
Yeah. Arthur Feast, Ben Shelton,
Oh yeah,
those two are always on my list. Like those are players I watch no matter who they're playing most of the time.
yeah. They definitely have this quality where even if they're winning somewhat easily, it doesn't really matter. It's still fun,
Yep.
and that's
Alcaraz
also good.
obviously.
Yeah, Alcaraz of course is the prime example. Yeah, and these are sort of the next stars that could be really good for the sport because of that as well. I personally, yeah, I don't want to use. Okay, I'm not. I'm gonna refrain from using examples, but there are definitely some top players who don't necessarily have that sort of excitement. Whereas, yeah, if Fields or Shelton become global superstars, they have both the personality and the game to just make tennis even more popular. But of course, that's sort of up to the results as well. No
Yeah.
one's gonna care about you if you're ranked 30 in the world in terms of like the general public and people who don't follow tennis.
Yeah, there's some players out there where it's like they have great matches, but it's very dependent on who they're playing against.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not like I would seek out to watch their match
Yeah.
if let's say Feast or Alcaraz or Shelton were playing. And I think like actually Sinner might be a good example of that, where it's like I don't know
Mm,
if I'd watch him against everyone, even though he is exciting to watch against a lot of players. It's not
maybe,
really
yeah. When Sinner plays someone, I don't know, let's say recently at the US or at Wimbledon, he had a couple of
right.
easy
Like
matches in the opening
yeah,
rounds.
those
Like
couple
I
of easy
didn't
rounds.
care.
I didn't really watch him then.
Yeah. He played Diego Schwartzman this year, for example, a couple of times, and
Yeah,
um, like I didn't know when you know what's gonna happen, or at least think because it's still tennis. I
yeah.
I don't put on the Sinner matches as well. By the way, did you see the draw for Vienna? Maybe you didn't because you probably
I did.
woke up. Oh,
No,
you actually
I did.
did.
I even tweeted about it. Yeah,
Okay,
I said I
yeah.
love it because I just love these 32 500 player draws. It's brutal, obviously
It
for
is
good
brutal,
players.
absolutely. There's also
But,
the Basel draw, and actually we get Rune Kecmanovic again, which
oh my
Rune
goodness.
will not be happy about. What else is crazy? I just seek out the really crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Well, Osher Yassim is losing to Leandro Ridi, by the way. I'm calling that
yeah,
already.
I could see that.
Uh, I easily could lose it if Ridi just has a good day at the office. If not
Honestly.
for the injuries, would have broken top 100% this year. I like the first round for Hurkacz for sure, Lajovic. I got sidetracked here. I was supposed to talk about the crazy matches. So Jari Manarino, I guess that sort of counts, and Bublik Rud definitely counts. But Vienna, if you guys didn't check the draw, you've got Medvedev playing Fields in the opening round. Dimitrov Musetti, that's two unseeded players, and one of them will face Medvedev or Fields. I'm just gonna read out the wildest, the most most absurd matches. Safiurin Kachanov, I think at this point with Safiurin's form, that's an absurd match as well. Tsitsipas team, we were supposed to get it in Antwerp this week. We are actually getting it in Vienna because this time the draw gods didn't force them to win matches to get there. We also get, well, I guess the Tefoy Evans, that's sick as well, but like one more Shelton Sinner. Of course, the rematch for Shanghai recently,
Yeah,
the forefront match for round forefront, right? Forefront match in Shanghai, 7-6 in the third for Ben Shelton. So, um, Yeah, crazy stuff, really. Recently, I think the players were talking that Beijing, right, was the strongest 500 ever or something like that.
Yeah,
Right now, I would say Vienna. Vienna is really close to that.
yeah. I mean, because I remember in Beijing, like, I mean, obviously Medvedev had Paul in the first round, and there were some other. There weren't as many like all first rounds that were like this for the seeds because this is a
Um,
nice year for the seeds in
well,
a way that
Medvedev Paul, right, was
yes,
the big
Medvedev
one.
Paul, but you had some that were easier
I mean,
slightly.
Shelton Sinner is literally the same sort of deal, where you've got a
Yeah,
top five player and then a top 20 guy. Well, Paul, I guess, was higher than Shelton, but if Shelton wins Shanghai, well, Shanghai, Tokyo is actually going to be. It's going to be tough for Shelton as well. Playing in
he was. Yeah,
Tokyo on Sunday, then Basel probably can make him play on. Not Basel, Vienna can probably make him play on Wednesday,
yeah.
I think.
Tiafo
So
Evans as well. That one is.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's Dan is where like 28th in the world. I don't know. I'm guessing right now,
yeah.
and
I
France is
mean,
probably
Evans has enjoyed that matchup actually quite a lot.
yeah. They've actually played 8 times already. That's sick.
Yeah. I mean, I remember the one in Washington where Evans played two matches in one day, and then
Uh huh. Yeah,
it
one
was
one all this year, and also tied when it comes to the whole rivalry. Although some will say that it's actually Tiafo for free up, because one of their matches was the final at Knoxville in 2015. So
yeah,
some will not count it, but but I
no,
will.
sure. Yeah, I mean, all the seeds apart from like Zverev, pretty tough first rounds.
Zverev, I think, also could be in
Even
trouble.
Zverev could be in trouble. Yeah, against Offner. I was gonna say. I mean,
Offner at home, Offner
yeah,
slower indoors probably is even better for him than faster indoors. Um, I don't know. I mean, at home and also with the fact that Zverev just lost to Thompson and Safiullin, there's definitely some uncertainty in there.
yes,
Um, well, Paul plays a qualifier, so I guess that's the theoretically like that's the seed that got it the easiest. The question
mm.
is, I mean, who is going to qualify?
but if it's a really good qualifier, like
Um,
like
well,
Morozhin
Maroshan,
or
I guess, yeah,
Rosivori
is
or
the main
something like
one.
that, Sonego,
Rusevori Mahach, yeah, if it's this much, or didn't Mahach actually didn't Mahach withdraw maybe? Oh no, he
no,
actually didn't. It was Mahach's opponent because he was supposed to
Mahat is
play.
playing right now
Yeah,
actually against.
Mahach is playing against Rodionov in upper set. So yeah, Mahach basically Mahach, Maroshan, Rusevori, yeah, Sonego as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
these would be the tough qualifiers for Paul. So if he has to play one of them, that's gonna be really rough too. Anyway, eighth game, Tsitsipas 30-15 up. They're trading with the inside out forehand Tsitsipas to Fields' his backhand, and he tries to change something up. The Greek does, but managed to get out of his backhand here. But eventually, it was actually the forehand that
yeah.
that he
I mean, the
mishit
first serve
when trying to
usually has
go
been bad.
inside in.
I've noticed also during this slump that the first serve hasn't been quite as clinical as it probably should be in some of these matches, but it looks better this week. And actually, to be honest, it did look
Um,
much better in Shanghai, even though he lost against Humbert, which is always going to be a tough matchup for him.
but yeah, okay, that was fair said. Yeah, I
Yeah,
watched that.
7-5 in
Okay,
the dark.
yeah.
That was maybe the best I've seen him in a loss since, I don't know, like Wimbledon, probably. But
Yeah, and Wimbledon was actually really good at
yeah,
times. The way he was hitting his forehand against Mare, I still think of
mm,
that sometimes, honestly, because
yeah,
a lot of the time people say that it's like one of the best forehands on the tour, and honestly, 90% of the time I don't really see it. But in that Mare match, I mean, it was scandalous.
I think his best forehand is the inside in. I don't think anyone, when it's on, I don't think anyone hits it better. Except maybe Rafa. But Rafa's not really playing right now.
Some,
So it's
someone who just came to mind was Hubert Hurkacz. Of course, that's not true.
no,
But I was
no.
just
No,
thinking
but
about
in
him.
Shanghai, yeah, I like.
Yeah,
I,
the last
I
two
saw it.
weeks, basically, he was hitting his inside in extremely well. But of course, most of the time, it doesn't really come.
Most of the time,
He
no.
has this one good pattern, basically, with the forehand when he changes to inside in of a like a half volley ish motion, and of course he doesn't. It's not Tsitsipas level, but yeah, he just that's why I laughed. But yeah, Tsitsipas definitely has to be one of the best inside in hitters, and
Yeah,
actually, Fields is also one of them. I think
yeah.
it's a very
But I
different stroke.
gotta see it more against the very best before I hail it as one of the best.
Yeah, it's a different stroke. With Fields, you've got like 3,500 RPMs or whatever.
It's so
But
heavy.
yeah, it's also a really great inside in forehand. He actually won the match against Layal with it, sort of. There were a couple of very clutch forehands on the breakpoints, and usually Layal, of course, is a player who prefers his forehand significantly. He was standing, very wide to his left side of the court, so even though he's pretty quick and like athletic, he usually wouldn't catch that from that to that forehand corner. I think maybe he has some sort of things to learn in terms of covering that, and
Mm.
the Fields forehand definitely exposed that pretty well.
So Tsitsipas going back on this second serve time, taking a full swing as he should, getting his way back into the point, and then his backhand just miss hit again. Is he the player in the top 10 who you think miss hits slash shanks slash miss times the most backhands on tour?
Top 10?
Yeah, amongst the top 10 for sure, right? I don't
Oh,
know.
for sure. Yeah. I
More
think
than him.
probably more than Federer, and he was sort
Yeah,
of known for
yeah,
it.
yes.
Well, Federer kind of used to do it on a bad day. Like if he didn't
Mm.
have good rhythm, he would shank most of his backhands, and it happened a lot. Obviously, it also comes from like trying to take the ball very early, because then you are definitely more prone to shanking. But yeah, I think Tsitsipas is definitely higher up, and like even when he's playing well, that happens to him quite a lot. Although right now he's trading a few backhands here, and
Mm.
when he has time on it,
The other
it's
day
fine.
I was watching the highlights again of the 2019 Beijing final
Uh
between
huh.
him and Keane, and even some of the World Tour matches. And I have to say, his backhand was looking much better than it is now.
Yes.
He was hitting it with more freedom. It was flatter. He was taking it earlier. Like back then it was not known as a big, huge weakness.
Yeah.
Just to say, then later on it got exposed more. But
The one match that I sort of want to go back to, especially regarding this, is the Nadal win in Madrid.
yeah,
Um,
that
I
one
think
too.
he was just ridiculous at it. It's obviously very hard to beat Nadal with a one-hander. He struggled with it himself, Tsitsipas, on a few occasions, and then
Hmm.
he just comes out and has no issue just going down the line from that huge topspin of Nadal.
Right.
And yeah, I kind of want to see that, even maybe the highlights from that match again. But I just remember that compared to what we have right now in Tsitsipas's game was just night and day. And actually, as we are talking about this, I mean, he slices. It's ridiculous, really. Sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know, man. He is not getting the downward straight trajectory that he needs. He's hitting it like almost like a U, and it's floating, and it's
Yeah,
you don't
they
want.
showed they showed it on the replay for me as well. Like the
Yeah.
first one was already a floater, and the
And
second
actually,
one was just
sometimes against Murray, he was hitting it better. I don't know if that's just because of
a grass thing as well,
the grass
maybe.
thing. Yeah, maybe just staying a little bit lower. Maybe just
Yeah. Definitely, like maybe the Fields forehand as well is going to be tough for him because it has so much RPM on it, so much spin. And
yeah.
and that was a very spinny forehand, the one that he was just trying to slice off and didn't manage to. But anyway, 5-4 so far.
I do also
Definitely.
sometimes wonder if those arm issues that he's been having the last 3 years,
Hmm.
maybe the shoulder problem, elbow problem, is that contributing to his lack of clarity on the backhand? It's hard to say, but
Yeah,
it's possible, right?
maybe. Yeah, I don't know. As we sort of said about these matches against Team or Nadal in Madrid, like his backhand, especially topspin, because slice probably not, but like his topspin backhand used to be an actual weapon in these days. So
Yeah.
maybe.
And against Rafa, like you were saying in Madrid, it wasn't getting so high up on him. He's also got 3 more inches on Federer in terms of height, and he's able to. I guess it's easier for him in theory take it early
Yeah,
and
should be,
not get
should
it
be.
so high on the shoulder.
And also the altitude conditions as well. But still, it was a sensational performance for sure when it comes to the backhand side as well. Sort of maybe reminded me of well, he lost that match, but Dimitrov at the 2018 Australian Open against Rafa, pretty
Yeah,
similar way of handling it, handling the topspin.
yeah. But I think Tsitsipas is also a player where it's like if he's competing hard, if he's continuing to serve and hit his forehand the way he normally does, he's still going to make year-end finals. He's still going to be always top six, top seven. But can he take that next step? That's the thing.
And that's how it looks so far this year, for sure. I think maybe some questions about that could arise if he doesn't produce at the Australian Open, right? Because
Yeah,
once he drops his points there, then we would actually we might be talking about a situation where Tsitsipas could be outside the top 10 even. So
yeah.
yeah, basically the Australian Open is going to be quite important for that. He wouldn't be far outside the top 10 right now if he didn't defend his Australian Open points. However, he would still be outside the top 10. So that there is that one result which basically accounts for 33% of his points
Yeah, it was
this year.
basically like Medvedev last year. Like when he didn't defend the final, then he was out of the top 10.
Yeah, but then he very, very
And
quickly
he, he was out of the top
recovered
10
from
for
that.
what, 2 3 weeks, and then he
I
was.
think he was maybe even already I think maybe he was even already out of the top 10 before the Australian Open, right?
No, I don't think so. I think he was top 10 when
Wasn't
he
he
lost.
like
But
12 when
he was like,
he
when he lost, yeah, then he was. Not during the tournament, or not
yeah,
before
during
he.
during the tournament wasn't he 12?
Yeah, I mean, when he lost. Then I guess when the new rankings came on, then he was.
So when he but the seeding would have been
Yeah, wasn't he? I have a feeling he was seated in the top 8.
I don't actually know.
Like,
I will check. I will
either
check that,
7th or
but
8th. I think he was. I think he
I
might have
will check
been.
that, but that's very possible. I will
I know
check
he
that.
finished the year number 7.
Oh yeah, you're right. 7, yeah, was his seeding. Yeah, 12, and then he went down to probably 12 because I remember
Yeah.
something like that. But 11th was already when he played in Rotterdam. Yeah, you're right. 7. For some reason, I
Okay,
thought he
yeah,
was
big
seeded
trouble here.
12th, and
And that wasn't even that heavy of a forehand, but Tsitsipas really mishit it. Not even close.
thank you, Nikolaus. I'm sorry that we couldn't say anything more pleasant towards Steph, but well,
We'll see.
maybe after he wins this match, this would surely be pretty big for him to make a final right now.
Yeah.
But he does have to save the set point, and
And can he do it? And he does. He comes up with a very good second serve, followed by a inside out forehand. It was perfectly hit.
yeah, that's sort of. I mean, okay, it's a little different, but like Federer has Roland Garros 2009.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, same
yeah,
pattern, really.
sure.
Yeah.
Oh wow, ace 214 then.
Similarly sharp in terms of the angle. So
Yeah.
that we can definitely appreciate.
I once made like a. I mean, just because I've seen that shot so many times against Haas, I made
Hmm.
I made something on Twitter the other time where it was Runa hitting that exact same shot against Wood, and I
Mm.
put it together
Ah,
with the Federer Haas, and then Runa actually retweeted it.
okay.
It's like,
Shihari
okay,
did something very similar, right? With
yes,
this
he did that
kid
for
tweet
the
that,
Alcaraz Center Miami.
yeah,
He
that was the Djokovic Wawrinka maybe
Yes,
backhand short angled pass, yeah.
yeah. That
And
one
then
went
someone
very viral.
sort of stole it from him, like right, like
Yes,
with the
Tennis
Australian
TV, I
Open
think. I think
or
Tennis
Tennis TV.
TV
Yeah.
took it and didn't give him credit or something like that. Yeah.
Why is Steph playing in doubles? I mean, he often does, right, with his brother whenever he sort of can, whenever they are the same event, and they're actually in the semis. So
Yeah.
maybe, and also Petros, I think, is fighting for his top 100 debut today in doubles. So that would be an achievement that he could help out his brother with as well. Yeah, they've played 13 matches this year together. So actually, not that much, but at least they've been winning some of them because last few years basically their win-loss record haven't been great. But that's also because when they're playing, they are playing at the top of the game, right? They are playing the biggest events. They're not playing challengers together.
Yeah.
They actually only played one
Look
challenger
at
together, I
Tsitsipas
think.
actually without his brother. He's had some great doubles results.
Petros?
Miami, Miami 2019, he made the final.
No, Stefanos. Okay,
Yeah,
I
Stefanos,
thought
that
you
was
were talking about
it
Petros.
was
Okay.
with Kohlhoff. Wesley Kohlhoff, he made the final. And then in Acapulco last year with Lopez, they won the tournament.
Well, I guess you still sort of have to question the backhand's effectiveness in doubles, but you can sort
Oh,
of maybe
speaking
risk
of
it more.
backhand, watch the
You
point
can
attack.
go for it. All right. Oh, that's yeah.
Dare I say
Now
that? I
that
mean, that is Federer
yeah,
in his 30s for you.
neo backhand or however they called it. And Ivan Ljubicic is actually probably watching this match, so he's like,
Yep,
"Oh, that's my play. How
he's
dare you
he's
use
helping the
to
French players these
how dare
days.
you use that against my boy Arthur?" Yeah, he's like the head coach of the FFT of the French
Yeah,
Federation or something like that.
it's very funny because every time I see him in the crowd, he's not. It doesn't look like he's paying attention very closely. He's like on his phone or he's not that into the match. Who was it? Who was it that was playing the other day and I saw him in the crowd? Um,
Feels probably. Um,
yeah,
because he was at Fils Layal for sure. I'm not sure if he's here today though. But anyway, that's a pretty poor miss from Fields, and now he has to save a breakpoint.
yeah, and it's a second serve with that attitude. Journalists, yeah, that's funny.
So
Some journalists
that's
are
that.
definitely like that. I would say.
That first serve backhand return could be a very pivotal point of this set. But
Tsitsipas is
speaking of
really
speaking
trying to
of
cover the.
quality second serves, right? And actually, Fields was also doing that against Layal quite a lot. Like whenever there was a second serve under pressure, he would go for like a very extravagant direction, some really precise placement, and
Yeah,
basically pull it off every time. Like he had some double faults, but they were never coming in the most important moments. He saved 8 out of 8 breakpoints after all. And there was also another point like that where Layal was already going to try to run around, and he just surprised him with the um, yeah,
oh,
with the
wow.
direction, 100%.
Yeah, this time Tsitsipas opting to not go for the slice while defending. Chose to just hit it cross
Okay,
court, and it's
I guess he had to, but
you know,
still a low percentage shot for sure. But
it
I
is, yeah,
think he probably had to. I mean, any slice from that position, and you're probably dead.
you're killed. Yeah,
That's why players are also willing to approach to Tsitsipas's backhand or any one-hander really, because you kind of have to hit a topspin. If it's a slice pass, you're
yeah.
it's very
Very
rare that
difficult to
it's
also
gonna give
hit.
you.
It's very difficult to also hit open stance with a one hander.
Yeah,
I mean,
team.
basically any team can do it like really well.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that team can do it exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
team. I can remember like a billion of his one-handed. I mean, open stance one-handers, but most of the time, yeah, it's tough. Personally, I honestly can only remember like a few times when I pulled something like that off, and it was just a Hail Mary most of the time.
Yeah, Paulini is in the final of Tunisia. She's gonna play
Hmm?
Mertens in the final.
Ah, Paulini.
Yeah,
I hope
winner of
she
the
wins. She has such a he has had such an excellent year, and sort of,
yeah.
it would be good to cap it off with a title. It's also her event, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Wait, what do you mean her event?
Jasmine Open.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but yeah, exactly. John got it, but he's there,
wow.
so
Okay,
he
yeah.
kind of has it easy.
I don't know why I didn't
Another
use that.
breakpoint, yeah, another breakpoint saved. Another clutch play. So has Fizz been broken this week? Actually, I don't think so, right? 8 out of 8 against Layal, 3 out of 3 against Tsitsipas so far, I believe, and against Varias, did he even had to save a breakpoint? Let me check that. The first set was definitely a bagel, and I think the second was 6-3. He's had to save 2 breakpoints, so yeah, he's actually yet to be broken and coming up really clutch. Second time today, maybe, yeah.
And you saved both the breakpoints so far with second serves, but very good
Yeah,
ones.
that's precisely what he was doing against Layal.
Yeah.
Second serve under pressure, always even more risky than usual.
Yeah.
And pulling it off every time.
Yeah, this the way he was able to slide that T serve on the first breakpoint was quite something. Tsitsipas was ready for the return, but even he couldn't get a racket on it really and get it back in play. And then the
Speaking
second
of
serve,
one-handers, Remy Bertola beat Pedro Cachin in Basel qualies.
oh my god.
I guess maybe not that big an upset. I don't know.
Yeah, and Tsitsipas must have
Yes,
had.
yes, I can see John backstage, but I wouldn't be able to guess that it's the stadium. Uh, I would probably think it's more like the press office. There's some windows behind him. He is looking very, very happy.
John,
Yeah. Is that because Mertens Burel is so good? Maybe.
that's the joy he gets from watching Martins.
Burel could get me to smile like that. Mertens, I don't know. Probably not so much.
Yeah.
No, not one of my favorite players to watch now.
There were a couple of times where I loved watching her when she was like really peaky. I think one of those
Yeah,
was against maybe Dubai 1 year.
she
Um,
generally had a lot of good starts to the year, I would say.
again.
Oh yeah, the weather. That's. I mean, I'm in deepest, darkest Poland, and John just shows me sun, basically. I went running like an hour ago. It was like fog everywhere. I basically couldn't see the end of the street from where I was standing. And yet John is sitting in Monastir. Lucky bastard. Is there an ITF event this week in Monastir? I mean, there always is, right? Of course. 15K in Monastir. Aziz Dugas against Bitun Kuzmina in the final. And is there a women's one as well? Yes, indeed. 15K as well. That's the true shrine of tennis. Okay. So one more hold for Stefanos to get to a tiebreak. But it was quite an eventful set, even if we actually get 12 holds in it.
Yeah.
Stefanos saving a break set point at 4-5, clutch second serve, and Fizz saving a couple at 5-all, also clutch second serves.
Yes.
There was also one at the beginning of the set which I didn't mention because it was like less consequential. Well, I guess in the long run, but we don't know how it would have went if Tsitsipas took it. How it would have gone. Sorry.
It's like a pretty comfortable hold here for both.
Yep, just getting good serves in and then taking advantage couple of times this game that he goes down the middle with like a volley or an overhead, and
Yeah.
there's no way for Fizz to react to it. Well, the smash actually wasn't that easy. So three game points, and we might get a tiebreaker.
And we do. Tsitsipas were to win this title, this would be the third year in a row he's won at least two titles in this season.
It took me a while to get that Bostad joke.
Oh.
Some good stories there. And there's also John also mentioned that there was going to be an interview with the Tunisian Tennis Federation chief. Is that like a famous person, or is that someone we're not going to know?
Oh, and Feast's forehand. Very heavy, very precise, very well controlled.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, it's not someone we're going to know. So, but I'm excited to check it out. Yeah, that replay was pretty funny. Like the feeling of disappointment on Tsitsipas's face when he realizes it's actually in.
His serve continuing to bail him out of trouble. I guess not really trouble so far in the tiebreak, but
Yeah, just
keeping him in.
easier point. No need to worry about anything, and that was also very well placed, of course.
Another good first serve wide, but this time Feast blocks the return back deep and gets himself nicely into the point, and Tsitsipas actually misses the inside in.
Yeah, getting it pretty deep to that Tsitsipas backhand corner, making him overcommit a little bit, and
Yeah. Now Tsitsipas will have to come up with the goods on return.
that backhand return from earlier in the set we will remember for sure. But can he come up with another one or something similar at least? I actually have not seen Ivan Ljubicic, I think, yet, so maybe he didn't
Oh
manage to
wow!
witness that.
Actually managed to get that lob up pretty high. He looked in a pretty dire situation there. Looked like Feast was
Ooh.
opening point, and Feast just
Yeah,
pulled
I
it
think this was one for the let it bounce
up.
crowd.
Yeah,
If it's so tough, right? Why won't you?
that was, I guess, a steal of a point. When he gets the first serve, and does he miss that forehand? Has he missed it? No, he has made it. He
Oh
made
my goodness! I mean,
it.
that's
Very close.
well. I guess one way to look at it is that it probably had like 3,500
Yeah,
RPM, so it sort of helped the ball
it
get
was
back
very
into the
deceiving
court.
to the
But
eye.
yeah,
But
it's still too close for comfort. The real way to look at it is just no, that was too close for comfort, and you shouldn't be playing like this. But he manages to land it, so
yeah. Oh, third point this is.
And that's a good block return.
Yeah.
But eventually, yeah, eventually
Yes,
it's
that
not
was
going
an
to
awkward
amount to
first
something.
forehand that Tsitsipas had to hit. Look at this. Look at this blocker time. And
Yeah, after the block return, it was very tough. I was surprised that he got it back this well.
yeah. And
And
then the
then
backhand as
actually,
well that he managed to
yeah,
get very deep and look
basically
like
a volley,
yeah, that was
and he manages to win the point anyway.
hmm,
So that was a nice escape, definitely.
yeah.
On at least on a couple of occasions in this point, he was in well serious trouble in terms of just getting a very uncomfortable ball.
Yet again another first set tiebreaker we are. Very
Yeah,
unfortunate.
you mentioned that earlier today. True.
Yeah,
So our third in a row, probably.
yeah,
But earlier we ended the streak of straight setters, I guess,
yeah,
which maybe was even longer. Yeah, but a 1-2 punch from Fields, and he has the mini break now.
yeah. Again, the heaviness of pieces forehand. Everything.
Yeah, on top of the return early and then just going with that heavy forehand to that Tsitsipas backhand. I don't want to say works every time because it doesn't, but certainly it's good for him that he likes that sort of direction anyway. So
Yeah,
it's super natural for him to target that
but
weakness.
not
But
this time
yeah,
because
overdoes it this
back it
time.
out and he's over hits it. So
Yeah, these are the sort of errors that definitely happen to Fuse quite a lot. He has a ball
mm,
like that, you sort of just wish that he flattens it out more,
yeah,
and he goes for that long, long, long motion and just adds a little too much to it. It's a
although he
gift
does
and a
get ready.
curse.
It's the person's going to challenge, but it's yeah.
No, it wasn't, I think. Yeah.
Okay. He's still in front 5-4. Did you pick Karatsev to get to the final? I think we both
Um,
said that if Karatsev is on, he's going to win. Right?
Peaked Karatsev. I didn't do any peaks, so I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I mean, I
Yes.
definitely said
Wonderful.
to someone earlier this week who commented on my Twitter that it's hard to look past an American or an Australian winner in
Mm,
Tokyo, and then I said that well, I wouldn't look past Karatsev or Zhang basically because
look at
they
that
are
point
both
from Arthur Feast.
yeah because they both have such high peaks basically, and they can beat anyone when they catch fire. And yeah, Arthur Fields also with a fantastic one now here, cross court forehand and
Yeah.
very good timing to get to the
Really
net.
hook that wide and makes it surprise hit. A
A
very
gift and
tough
a
shot.
curse. That heavy forehand is a gift and a curse, and this time definitely a gift.
Yeah.
Unlike on the previous points. So Tsitsipas forced to save two more set points, as you might remember. He already saved one at 4-5.
Yes. He does save this one with an excellent forehand and volley combination.
Yeah.
Comes forward
This
nicely, puts
this
it
is I
in.
guess the sort of forehand that Fils would like to have, where it's
Yeah.
like more compact, very quick off the bounce, and just never really gives your opponent time to breathe. But he's getting there, and he's definitely has its advantages as well.
Yeah. If I'm Feast, I'm going first serve, hard to the backhand.
Yeah, and out wide, that's maybe if he goes down T, it's like just to
And he gets
surprise.
it. He
But
doesn't even hit it that big, but
yeah,
he gets the kick on it. It's
gets the kick on it. Tsitsipas
arbitrarily
slices it again. Just nothing on it really.
and
It's not knifed. It's not deep. It's not low, and
that's a tough one
Fields
for
gets a
Stefanos,
plus
but I
one.
gotta say Feast really came up with the goods. in
Yeah,
that time.
when it mattered, and like he's been doing
Yeah.
that all week, really. Whenever there's pressure, he's coming up with ridiculous second serves and just even more clutch than usual. And good stuff, really.
One of the
And
stats
as
that I'm gonna have to start monitoring is Tsitsipas against players younger than him, because that's definitely one of the narratives that there's this whole generation of people born, let's say 2000, 2001 after, and
yeah, and that whole
he's,
generation so far, like the
yeah.
players younger than him who, let's say, are stars. So I'm not, like, not
I mean, I
counting.
would say other than Musetti, who he seems to always, you know, match up nicely against.
Oh,
Other
five
than
sets at the
Musetti,
French, you know. Uh,
and or I should say, I mean, he's leaving the head-to-head. I think 5-0. So there's
yeah,
that, and then against Sinner 5-2. Uh, but it's these type of matches, like instance Draper, uh, Alcaraz. I guess Brooksby once last year as well, and I know this potentially Feast. I gotta say, actually, that Cincinnati win over Shelton is looking a little more impressive now.
yeah, that was maybe more so when Shelton was still awful on return, though.
Yes,
So
a
like
couple of tiebreaks.
Shelton was just not winning points on first serve return whatsoever, and then it showed up big time in the tiebreak as well. So
Yeah,
I mean, the both tiebreaks. I mean, so mm, yeah, I guess I'm looking at it right now, and like this year, for example, Tsitsipas is still 12-4 against guys younger than him. It's only
okay.
Alcaraz twice, Sinner, and Stricker once. So
Yeah, Stricker also. Yeah,
yeah, so it's nothing crazy, definitely, but part of course of the narrative is that like the generation of players younger than him has sort of beaten him already has him beaten sort of in terms of Grand Slam winning chances, which I kind of agree with that. Alcaraz, Sinner, Rune, beating two of these guys in the future. Maybe Fuse will join that group. Who knows? I mean, he definitely has the talent to. Shelton as well, like
yeah,
beating two of these guys in a row in order to win a slam, even after let's say Djokovic is gone. It's not gonna be easy, and especially Alcaraz, of course, who seems to
yeah.
crush
This
Stefanos every
position
time.
that Rude and Tsitsipas to a certain extent Zverev, but probably less so for Zverev. I would say more so for Tsitsipas and Rude. It's not a great position to be in because it's like, okay, they're 24, 25. They've been to major finals. Maybe at a different time you could say, okay, they're gonna win one. But I don't know. If I was a betting man, I would say they won't
Yeah,
because
me too.
I mean, forget the fact that you have Djokovic and Alcaraz playing the level that they are.
There's an obvious target in his game so far.
Yeah, and then also you have like these dangerous first rounds. I look at every single draw basically, and I'm like, oh, is he playing a lefty? Is he playing a big server?
Yeah,
Is he playing one of both? Okay, he's susceptible to getting upset.
he might lose. Yeah, yeah.
And
That
it's very
that's
similar for Root actually. You think about it too,
yeah.
like big server lefty. Okay, yeah, this is not gonna go well.
U.S. Open was maybe a perfect example, right? Like you just see Zhizhen Zhang in his draw, and you're
Yeah,
like, I mean, in Ruth's draw, and you're like, okay, this is a nightmare matchup. For Tsitsipas, I think he had so many big hitters there, like big servers and also lefties like Stricker, like who the hell was there? I mean, I can't remember, but there was definitely a bit of a nightmare. Oh, he played Raonic in the opening round, right? And he actually got out of that okay, but
yeah, he
still
played
he had to
Raonic.
play Raonic, Stricker,
Raonic
then
missed like so many
potentially
first serves in that match that it was.
someone else. Yeah, but like he had to play Raonic, then Stricker, then potentially someone else as well who fits that profile. And you
Mm,
end up thinking, okay, so Tsitsipas is probably not going too deep. Or if he goes deep, he probably has like two or three matches at first that aren't going to be smooth sailing. He struggles against Iji Vesely at Roland Garros, which maybe
yeah,
was the biggest sort of one, because Vesely just maybe a couple of weeks earlier he was in Ostrava and like really struggling physically in his matches, and he comes in to play Tsitsipas. Of course, he sort of gets himself up on the big stage, but anyway, yeah, that was
the loss which I just don't understand. I'm like, how can you lose to this guy? It was when he
Hmm?
lost to Molchan in Davis Cup. I'm like, how did he lose that
Yeah,
match? It was,
but he almost lost to Klein as well. But Klein, I can understand it. I mean, Klein has a very high peak level. Against Molchan, I thought that he was gonna have an easier time. Yeah,
misses the backhand.
yeah.
One. So that's the
We are
break.
talking, but he fell 3 breakpoints down, saved two of them, sort of out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Fell 3 breakpoints down, and now he misses the backhand to
Mm,
get broken.
misses
So
that.
this could be very quickly game set match if he can just keep holding. And it would be very fitting because most of the matches that we commentate with Vash, we that's how they end. There's a tie break, and then the
Well, I
other
will
guy.
also say another thing about Tsitsipas is, when he first came on, like he was fearless. He had this like he would walk around the court against these big three players when he was beating
Hmm.
them, and he believed that he can beat them. Like there was this swagger about him. There was
Yeah,
this, there was this feeling like I belong and I'm destined to be like the
and
future
now
number
there's
one.
more mental
And
scarring, I guess.
because of the scarring, because of the baggage, because of the losses
Yeah,
over and over and over against the very best, but then it kind of leaks over to the rest of the field, and then it's like he's in a tough situation where I don't know
yeah,
how
it
he
makes
gets out of that.
sense. Makes sense. Many players can struggle with that sort of from the hunter becoming the hunted, right? But yeah, certainly in his matches against the guys that he's struggling against, he tends to fall apart a little bit more, not give himself the chance. Even the fact that he was 2-1 up against Djokovic at some point, right? And then sort of Novak worked out a plan to play against him, and since then there was no real moment when Tsitsipas could beat him. Really,
Yeah, and then
Novak
of course
serves
you also have
just
to
as
go
well
back.
as he does, and returns defense 100 times better than he does.
And then of course you also have to go back to the George loss at the U.S. Open, where
Oh yeah, six
there's
six match
real
points. Yeah.
opportunity in that tournament to maybe even win. I don't know. Ooh,
So he still hasn't been past the third round at the US, right?
no. He's he's 6-6 at the U.S. Open, and he's 21-6 at the Australian Open.
Yeah. We can come up
Against
with
his
many
boss.
different sort of ideas, but that sort of a difference is still not explainable, really.
Yeah,
Losses to Galan especially. Yeah. Striker, I can understand it. He also has an extremely high peak level, but Fils is also making a bit of a mess of this second game, but he has just hit an ace to get back to 1530. So
yeah.
this would be very much in line with what he's been doing so far this week, which is
I
serving
guess the way Feast has
flat.
been mixing it up so far in this match with his serve also, but also
Yeah,
his forehand, really just keeping Tsitsipas guessing and not always being so predictable and hammering at the backhand. It's been it can be kind of easy to just be like, okay, I'll just pepper the backhand over and over and over, but he's actually mixing it up, hitting it. Um,
yeah, and it's also
Strong
the
shots.
problem of these players, right? Who are like really focused on running around and like they have to be a little bit further to that side. So
Yeah,
when the opponent goes for something else, sometimes you're not gonna make it. But of course, Tsitsipas is one of the best movers to his forehand corner. You kind of have to be with this game
yeah,
profile.
he did. He's once again
And I think
he
that's
gets
in. Yeah, that's in. Tsitsipas, I don't know if he made the call not to go for it or if he just didn't have a chance. Well, both, I
he,
guess, sort of.
maybe.
But again, it's like the feels heavy topspin that
Yeah.
makes this ball seem maybe a little overhit at first, but then it just rolls back into the court.
I guess I would just like to see Tsitsipas fighting,
Hmm.
because there have been some matches the last couple of years where I've been a little disappointed in his fight, which is not something I would have said, before 2022, let's say.
Yeah, and I guess when we were talking about the mental scarring, we didn't mention the Roland Garros final, right? That's probably the biggest one
Yeah,
of them all. And that's a shame that he didn't get that. Actually, I mean, not talking that about Novak not having a slam or something. I don't really mind that, but just the question of yeah, for him, like where it would have put him on the map and sort of
sure.
um,
At the
very
same time, though,
different pressure and
he was never actually that
objectives.
close to winning the match. Last
Yeah,
3 sets. I don't think he got to a break point actually in the last 3 sets.
it's
But
possible.
there was this one game where he was up 40-15. That's the game he got broken. 1-2. I think it was 1-2 40-15 in the third. And then after that, it was really kind of one-sided until the very end when Tsitsipas managed to get it to deuce when Djokovic was serving it out.
It would have just had him with very different pressure, very different
Yeah.
objectives, even right now. And
But actually, still, yeah, I mean, one set away from beating Medvedev, Zverev,
yeah,
and Djokovic back to back to back is, would have been quite something. For sure.
Fils with another great serve, breakpoint down. Could have been a bit better maybe with the placement on the drive volley, but it wasn't that easy. And Tsitsipas doesn't get it back.
Yeah.
So if Fils indeed ends up being unbroken in this match, it's going to be a pretty spectacular effort as well, with already 15 breakpoints, I think, in this tournament, and still yet to
Save
be
all of them.
broken.
Hmm.
Yeah, 8 out of 8 against Layal, 2 out of 2 against Varias, and now I think he's at 5 out of 5 against Stefanos. So
Yeah. Oh, this time he goes for the inside in, but it's just right. And actually Tsitsipas somehow managing to get a little bit of skid on that slice.
yeah, definitely it was a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just yeah,
Just gotta
such
use one of these breakpoint chances and get
such a
back
near
in it.
miss as well. This
Yeah.
time the spin couldn't really help it since it was just guarding the keeping it straight more so than the actual spin.
Once again, yeah, just not really able to absorb the pace. That's the first miss that he's looking for, and breakpoint save. That's 16 for the tournament, right?
I think so. Definitely 8 against Layal, definitely 2 against Varias. So if we are at 6 right now in that Tsitsipas match, then that would be 16. Yeah.
And another ace down the tee. He's been hitting that
No, but
serve.
it seems like we are at 5 only. Are we? How many have there been in this game?
Oh, I mean, at least 3, right?
I think so. That's not what I'm seeing though. I will check with the official ATP, scoring. No, but the official scoreboard also says 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Is that really the case?
Wow.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
I'm not gonna disagree with it because there was definitely a breakpoint here, and then there was a drive volley, and wasn't there a third one? I really thought there was a third breakpoint.
Tsitsipas has to be careful that this set doesn't become a runaway train.
Did he find that forehand? He did. Okay.
He did, yes.
Yeah, another one of this sort of nail clippers from Fizz. Oh,
No, I
actually,
was talking about,
on the challenge, it actually doesn't look that close to the line. Okay, I thought it was.
by the way, I was talking about Tsitsipas getting potentially 2 titles again this year. Feast can get 2 titles this year, too, because he also won in Lyon.
Yep, Bublik as well in the
It was
final
too, yeah.
because he won Halle and Tsitsipas.
One Cabos.
Oh, Los Cabos. Yeah, I was struggling to come up with whatever he won. Yeah, Los Cabos sort of gets lost in translation because like it was right before he had that pretty poor patch,
Yes.
and he just never really seemed to have capitalized on that Los Cabos run in any shape or form, really.
Yeah. Of course, if he had served out the match against Stricker, we might have been talking differently.
Yeah,
But
maybe we're talking about something different. Striker plays who later?
Bonzi,
Bonzi. He wins that and he loses to Fritz, right?
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, potentially the furthest he was going to get in that tournament was the quarters.
Quarters, yeah, because that's when he
So
plays Nola.
yeah, and then same at Wimbledon. I think furthest he was getting was semis. So
Uh, which side of the draw he was on? Oh, it was against Alcaraz, right?
yeah,
Because he lost to Eubanks and Eubanks lost to Medvedev and etc. Yeah.
yeah. Funny
Yeah.
enough, in terms of wins, this was his best season in slams. I think 13 wins, which is better than
It's
playing
kind
his
of
one.
surprising.
Yeah, surprising stat. But also, he has not beaten a top 15 player this year.
Really?
Yeah,
That's absurd.
it is. Yeah, because actually, all of his best wins were against number 16. So like the wins that he had against Chorich, 16. Berrettini, 16. I think Sinner when he beat him
And
was
he also
what,
hasn't
17?
played top 16 players. Like no, actually, I think he
No,
has
he
one
has.
win over Chorich when he was number 15 in Los Cabos. I'm just checking that. But anyway, yeah, still no top 14 wins.
Wait, he
And
has a top 15 win?
yeah, number 15 Chorich in Los Cabos. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, but so he only played against a top 14 player 6 times. That is quite surprising.
yeah, because he's taken more early round losses this year than
Yeah,
previous
he's
years.
just not getting to these stages. And when he won Los Cabos, for example, the field was a little weaker. When he made the Australian Open final, the field outside of Sinner, who was ranked 16 at the
Yeah,
time, was weaker. So at the Australian Open, he didn't manage to get that. He beat the number 20 Kachanov, 71 Hechka, 63 Grigspor, 169 Hijikata, 61
I have to say,
others.
I think
Yeah.
also the injury that he had after Australia, I think that hurt his season. Oops, wait, how many did he? Yeah, the injury that he had, I think in February and March, that derailed the progress it was making.
Yeah, but that's pretty wild that he does not have a
By
top
the way,
even
Chorich was
10 win.
16. Chorich was 16 in Kabul. So
I mean, really?
yeah,
I
so
mean, that's
yeah, in
not
that
what tennis
tournament he beat
abstract says.
Isner,
Where are you
and
checking
probably the
that?
most impressive win was against Jari in the
Where
quarters.
are you checking that, by the way?
ATP website.
Oh, interesting. Um, tennis abstract has Chorich at 15 in Los Cabos.
Yeah, yeah, tennis abstract is sometimes off.
But in these cases, I mean, it must be right, I guess. But
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the ATP
I mean,
activity.
the ATP must be right. I mean,
Yeah,
we can actually check that very easily. I mean, so Los Cabos was 31st. Yeah, he dropped down to 16 for a week. So it is an error on tennis abstract indeed.
yeah.
Yeah, but these are the stats that you're never really gonna check from tennis abstract, whether they're actually right because it just takes too much time.
Yeah.
So you just end up trusting them anytime,
But
and clearly they can be wrong as
that's the
well.
thing. I mean, when I did the U.S. Open research, I had to be careful because I had to almost double check every single thing from abstract because I just didn't want to get it wrong. Like I think sometimes their win loss records are off too on
Yeah,
abstract. Like maybe because
that happens. Yeah,
for the longest time I remember they didn't count the Labour Cup. Now they finally do, which was not
they
consistent with the
there's
way ATP does it. So
one person. I mean. But yeah. Um, Yeah, with win loss records, it's very often that you're gonna have like one, maybe they're gonna be off by one or two, maybe.
Yeah, one or two.
It happens for sure. Yeah.
There is actually one question I need to ask someone at the ATP about because I think
Uh
they've
huh.
done this wrong, which is Djokovic's record after winning the first set. So on
Yeah.
the ATP, it'll tell you that he's lost 39 times.
Uh
It
huh.
should be only 37.
Interesting.
And the reason is I think they included two matches there where I don't know if I would have included that as, winning the first set. They included
So what was
his
that?
they included the default against PCB as him
Uh
winning the first
huh.
set, which really does not make any sense because
No, that doesn't
you
make
watch
any
the match,
sense
I mean, he
whatsoever.
was, he was losing at that point. So,
No, no, no. That doesn't make
and,
any sense. No.
and then also there was the match against Wawrinka in 2006. Umag, Umag final.
Umak tiebreak retirement.
Yeah, tiebreak retirement, and that counts as him winning the first set. So it's like
Yeah,
maybe
that
that's
doesn't
two
make sense
losses
indeed.
in that stat that are not really losses after winning the first set. So like whatever it is, I think he's like something in 39 losses, and it's like 97 or like 96% win percentage. I would say he's only lost 37 matches from the setup.
And we're
He's won
talking
30.
about just tour level.
Yes, ATP level.
Huh.
Yeah, yeah. If you include qualifiers and you include challenges,
It's
it'll be
actually
more.
not gonna be all that much more,
Probably
to
not
be
that much
honest with
more.
you. It's actually not gonna be all that much more now. I don't know if you saw that, but I actually found a fourth loss for Alcaraz against the one-hander.
Oh, who was it?
Nico Mertens in ITF qualifying 2018, and it
Well,
took me a lot of time to confirm if this guy actually has a one-hander, but I found some college videos of him, and he does. And basically, that was like the only player I had to check in order to make sure that our stat of like just three losses was correct. Gutierrez Ferrol was the other guy that I didn't really remember if he had a one-hander, but otherwise, Alcaraz has been playing at a high level, like level high enough where I knew if all of these guys have a one-hander or not. But so basically, it's just Nico Mertens, Dimitrov, Moroni, and Musetti.
yeah. Of course, the
Nico
triple.
Mertens is not playing anymore. He basically stopped like not long after he finished college, but he does have this in his arsenal, on his resume that he
Arsenal.
defeated Carlos
It'll
Alcaraz.
be
Yeah.
the answer to a trivia question, maybe somewhere on the
Yes,
road. And
absolutely. To like a hardcore trivia question, because Gianmarco Moroni is already a hardcore trivia question answer, and Nico Mertens, I did not hear of this guy,
yeah,
ever
first time I'm hearing of
before.
it right now. And
Yeah, I mean, he got to 1075 in the ATP rankings.
okay.
So that's how far he managed. And yeah, other than winning against Alcaraz, I guess as a one-hander, he doesn't have all that much going for him. But yeah, I guess that's important that Alcaraz has actually four professional losses against one-handers, not three, as we thought initially.
Yeah, I think we said before this match that it could, that Feast was going to make it hard for Stefanos and it was going to be a close match. But I think both of us still thought that Tsitsipas is a slight favorite.
Yeah,
So
maybe I underestimated a bit the effect of the heavy forehand of Fields on Tsitsipas. And I actually rewinded by now, and it was indeed just two breakpoints. I don't know why we said that.
two in that game. Yeah,
Yeah. So actually that was just us misremembering. Frank is there on Facebook with a bold prediction, I think, right now, given that that Fields is just three holds away. Is he gonna have some issues with holding up under pressure here? I actually don't think so. I think it's gonna have to be Tsitsipas actually
it's
doing
not a.
something.
He's not going to do a Marcos Giron Sorry, Marcos, but
Yeah, not
yeah,
not not that much joking, I
yeah,
mean, Fils has already scored a win that we said earlier on the stream that was like similar in terms of stature, in terms of
and also
yeah,
usually when you're at
importance.
this stage in your career, you're less
Mhm.
likely to lose a match like this. I think, just given the
I mean, yeah, when you're 30 like Giron, you know that it might be one
yeah,
of your last chances if maybe if there ever is going to be another one. Whereas for Fils, he kind of knows that his whole career is ahead of him, and it
yeah.
theoretically doesn't matter all that much. Of course, that's not
Also, he
how
has a
other
title
brains
already,
work,
so
but
he already has a title. He already has a top five
yeah,
win.
he has a top 10 win. Tsitsipas is not in the top 5 right now, but yeah. So he could dip a little bit. I mean, we'll see. But I think most of the time it's going to have to be Tsitsipas actually stepping up.
Yeah,
And so far, this week everyone is struggling to step up against Fils.
yes. But we'll see. He was still able to get two break points in the first game, so there's still a possibility. What's Tsitsipas' win percentage this year? I have to say it's like around 70%. 45 and 19 on the year. So that's about just under, yeah, it's about 70%
Which win rate? Tsitsipas's of which win rate for him?
for the season.
Ah, for the season. Yeah, it's actually pretty good. Like,
45 and 19, so about 70%. Of course, it was better at the start of the year when he was 10 and 0 before he lost to Djokovic in the final. Yeah, then of course, then he had the Rotterdam, Mrs. Acapulco. Don't know why he's playing Indian Wells, Miami, but he does. And then actually loses to Khachanov in Miami, but clearly not 100%.
yeah. I think especially against Garin, he was really struggling there, and he still managed to win. But
He still got to the round of 16, but I think that's just because of he got a walkover against Gasquet.
yep, so it wasn't all that impressive. But
No,
yeah, still, it's been a solid season. I
really,
mean, the guy is
he
gonna
was
make
still
the
very
ATP
rusty.
finals.
He was rusty when he came back in Monte Carlo.
Whoa! Did
Oh,
you
that was
did you
rude.
see that? Yeah,
I did, yes. Good
close
for him.
call, but I think it was in. Yeah, straight on the line, just bang on the line here. So
Yeah. Yeah, and
it's
then
one of
it was kind of misleading when he was in Monte Carlo too because he got one retirement and then Jari was uh, he didn't get a whole lot of rhythm. He ended up winning that match and then
Yeah, but he still played pretty well against Jari. I think both of us. I can remember talking to you about it, and like both of us
yes, I,
expecting
I I picked I
Jari
picked
to
Jari
take
to
the
win
win.
that match, so
Yeah,
I very much remember.
I just scrolled
I
back
was
in the chat, and I now realize why you said that about me picking Karatsev to make the final. I do not remember that, but Jane apparently
yeah,
does, and
yeah,
I'll take the
Jane.
credit for it. I'll take the credit for it. So just 2 holes away now, Arthur Fils, and from that second game of the match when he had the chances to break back, he Tsitsipas hasn't really threatened.
Yeah,
Huh. Funny thing about Mahach, I guess, we were talking about him playing Vienna, is that he played Jerry right like until very late in the day. I think almost midnight in Stockholm, and he already won his next match in Vienna today. So It was a pretty quick turnaround. Although I'm assuming that the Stockholm Vienna flight is like 2 hours or something like that. Probably even less. Seems like Elise Mertens will be safely through to the final against Paulini.
Yeah, Mertens, of course, won the title last year. I feel like Martin
And
has a lot of titles. I want to say at least 7. To look that up now.
yeah, I don't think she would have double digits, but I would say at least 5 probably. She has a lot of like Mickey Mouse titles, you know.
Yeah, 250s.
Yeah, and especially 250s that weren't all that strong. I think she had like a pretty good 250 at the beginning of the year at some point. Um, yeah, seven is her title number. Yeah, the WTA 500 in at the beginning of the year is what I was referring to. Also, one more 500 in Doha, but that's it. Otherwise, otherwise it's just 250s. And yeah, beginning of the year definitely a strong period for her with Hobart in 2017 and 2018 as well. And now she's going to try to defend her Jasmine Open title, but she's facing Jasmine in the final. So, and Jasmine is also in the doubles final, similarly to Stefanos Tsitsipas if he actually made it here and also won. Now John is definitely in the press office. It actually looks pretty nice. Vansh, how about a Jasmine Open trip next year? If Ons is gonna play. If Ons is gonna play. No
Yeah.
Ons, no Vansh. Vansh is just such an Ons Jabeur fan that he's not gonna show up unless she plays.
Yeah. So she probably will play in. Actually, she may not play in San Diego. That's going to be interesting to see who plays San Diego next year. Given that it's just before Indian Wells and it's just after the two 1000s in the Middle East. I don't know how good the field will actually be.
Yeah, it's definitely a scheduling that we're sort of gonna have to see how it works out
Mm.
because the players who are gonna go deep in Doha and Dubai,
Maybe
they
Ons will
might
only go deep in one of the two, and then in the
yeah,
second match,
especially if it's the former one, then
yeah,
yeah, then there's a chance. Fantastic, another fantastic forehand from Fields, this time inside in. Tsitsipas, as usual, a little further to his backhand side, cannot catch that. And still no signs of any mental frailties from Fields, especially as the serve holds up and still keeps bringing him 3 points.
yeah, the serve is bringing the heat, and it's always the forehand, and Tsitsipas hasn't really got any looks apart from that one game that we already talked about. I mean, it doesn't even feel like Feast has hit many backhands at all in this match, right?
Yeah, that's true. I
And
mean, when
actually,
he's
now that I'm visualizing these points, has he ever even hit a backhand? I
um
mean, obviously he has, but it's like
yeah, he has like for
really just
example, yeah, I can come up with a few, but definitely he's hitting like 60% forehands at least, and probably even more. I mean, part of that is again the weaknesses of Tsitsipas, like you know,
yeah,
he's not forcing Fields to be deep into his backhand corner, not really.
no, he's not. Like for example, when I watched the match that he played against Zverev, he was forced to hit so many more backhands than he would have wanted. But obviously, that's just difference in
Yeah,
yeah in play style and just
and against Ruth, one round earlier, he hit like 25 forehand winners or something like that.
yeah yeah. Oh, did he make that? No, he did not make that, but almost. So
Yeah, it
now
would have been one of the shots of the match, but indeed we have a comfortable hold for Arthur Fils, and this
yeah,
match might be over in the next 5 or 10 minutes if the Frenchman is not going to Yeah, choke up a little bit at least.
Yeah.
Stefanos still has the doubles semifinal to play
Mm,
later on, so he's gonna have
yeah.
some suitable rest. I think with 2 sets, they have to give him like at least an hour or something like
Yeah.
that. With 3 sets, it would be two. He obviously plays with his brother Petros, and they're gonna play Romeo Arneodo and Tristan Samuel Weisborn. Arneodo was also sitting in Fils's box earlier this week. I'm not sure if he's. I don't think I've seen him today. Although I think he was actually sitting with Mpechi Pericard and his coach when they were watching Fils, not actually in Fils's box.
Mm,
Um, Probably prepping for his semi today, although Petros is still there supporting his brother.
yeah.
Did he
And
land
Jake
it?
is here.
I don't think so. This would have been a similar return to that one from Tsitsipas in the first set. Hi, Jake.
Yes. Jake is, of course, one of our loyal listeners.
Better late than never, as usual.
Oh, and
Maybe it's actually not that late. Feels winner, and
And he actually hits
yeah,
a
he gets
very
it.
good
He
one.
gets
And
it.
the crowd is on their feet, as they should be.
Forces Tsitsipas to stretch for the volley, and Tsitsipas doesn't make it back over the net. So that winner that Fils was attempting to hit in the first set, he tries it again, and he
Yeah.
wins the point. We're
Wow.
probably gonna see it on tennis TV in
Yeah.
a second.
It's probably going to be on tennis TV, though.
Yeah, orally toured, not around here. I think I'm actually not sure who's the umpire,
uh,
but I don't remember. Uh, it doesn't seem to be her.
Tsitsipas hits that slice, gets away with. He's missing the forehand, but it's all about really the next game for Fils. Will those dots come in? Will he miss a few more first serves? Well, I mean, Tsitsipas kind of just needs Fils' level to drop a little bit. Otherwise, it is looking like the upset is on. Okay, we do get the hold. So Fils will serve for his biggest hardcore win. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's for sure. He actually had a surprisingly high amount of walkovers against him in high-profile matches because he had Felix withdraw before
Oh
their
yeah,
match in
Felix.
Lyon, and then also
Almost.
Sinner in Marseille. And I actually remember some people complaining about it on Twitter this year. There's this one guy who is a fan of Mpechi Pericard and sort of always complains that Mpechi Pericard gets less chances than Fields, which is true. I do think it's justified though, not necessarily by their potential or whatever, but just because since they started playing in the pros, Fils was always ahead. But I think he used to use that as a bit of a argument, that Fils got the walkovers from Sinner and Felix. He wouldn't be there if it wasn't for that. Of course, that's not something we can really know or control.
I see someone eating. At first I thought that was chocolate because I know Belgium is famous for its chocolate. I feel like a lot of European countries are just famous for their chocolate. Is that true? You know, so you have
Come
Switzerland, you
again?
have
Come
a
again?
lot of countries in Europe are just famous for their chocolate.
Uh, I guess
Like
it's
you have
Switzerland
Switzerland, and
and
then I
what
think
else?
Belgium also.
Belgium,
Belgium is
yeah, Belgium as well, yeah.
chocolate.
So it's like this one
Um,
part of Europe, I guess.
yeah,
Switzerland, Belgium, maybe France. I don't know actually,
France too.
France,
Yeah, I've heard that.
but definitely Belgium and Switzerland would be the main
By the
two.
way, double fault to start the game with these. We'll see if he comes under any pressure in this game. Let's see if he have to hit some more second serves. Okay.
Jake is disappointed with that Tsitsipas effort. Um, am I
Oh,
disappointed?
oh well, he does well here. I mean, he attempts to serve in volley, and Tsitsipas moves back on the return, gives himself a little bit more time, and then is
I
able
think
to.
it's been a decent match from Tsitsipas.
Yeah, I
Sort of,
actually would say that.
he's not back by his
Yeah,
usual problems,
I mean,
but
he could have lost the first set 6-4 very easily, right? And then he came up with that clutch forehand and second serve. And then I feel like in the tiebreak, it was more Feast stepping up. I guess where the drop off really happened was the first game of the second. That's where you could see Tsitsipas kind of,
yeah, that was a little bit of momentum from that tiebreaker, and
yeah. That was another opportunity to get a return back in play, but Tsitsipas is, Feast's kick serve high to the Tsitsipas backhand and gets the,
he very he sort of just went down low 40 right in the first game after the tiebreak very
yeah,
quickly,
very quick.
saved two break points, and then never really recovered
Yeah. And then
from
met
losing
two
that.
break back points in the next game, but
Yeah, and it was again some super clutch play from Fees, like like all week basically.
just like that, Feast is able to erase the love 30, and now he's 2 points away from the match. Man, Feast has not made a single first serve in this game. Tsitsipas doesn't actually do that much with the second serve return. Feast
Ooh, yeah.
misses that shot, and that was
One of the cheapest errors he has given him all match.
yeah, maybe
There was
maybe
also
three.
one, maybe at 5-all in the second set, sorry, in the first set, where at
Yeah,
Ferriol there was a similar one, but
yeah,
that was a little tougher, I think, than what Fils had
yeah.
to
But
hit
he gets
here.
the big first serve there, and he actually flattened it out just enough, and he got the unreturnable. So we'll see. I mean, the question is, does he get a second serve return to work with? Yeah, 216 out wide. That was very good first serve. Talking about the previous one. This one was 218, but he just missed it right. Decent second serve return. Yeah, and there actually Tsitsipas' backhand held up a bit
Have
better.
I ever seen someone? What really? Is there a thing about eating
Twixies?
Tweaks and?
I prefer Kit Kats and
Um,
Hershey's
Yeah,
and
I
Twix.
honestly don't like Twix all that much either, but like, is there a thing really with young people only eating it? I don't know. That doesn't sound right.
I don't think I've ever liked Twix.
What's the popular choice then for old people then?
Snickers?
I have no clue.
I don't know. I'm just making it up because my dad loves Snickers.
My dad loves sneakers too, but he's not 65 yet, so
Uh, I prefer Kit Kat or Hershey's. I'll just say I just love
I
original
don't
milk chocolate.
really.
I don't want the
Oof.
caramel, stuck in my teeth.
Milky Way is one that I enjoy. Kit Kat is good too. Um, what else is there? I don't know. Tweaks, Mars, Snickers, like all of these. No, not really. I wouldn't really buy them. Like if it was just lying around in my house, yeah, sure. But already trying to boast about his prediction. We'll see if it actually comes right because well, there's going to be another breakpoint and
Yeah.
ooh, yeah, Sean, that I don't remember. Marathon?
Oh, marathon. What? Okay. I did not know that.
Apparently we are not old.
They're not.
That's good. It's good to hear.
Mm.
Is there going to be another saved breakpoint by Fields in this event or not? That's the
Mm.
question.
Second serve return.
This one was more like more
Yeah.
traditional, tentative direction, but yeah. But this is on Steph, I think. Like this is on him just not doing anything with the backhand, just playing it. I don't know, free court.
Very safe,
Well,
very short,
yeah,
just control, just
down the middle,
easy
fairly
attack.
short
Yeah.
between the service box and the baseline, and this is just the perfect ball for Fields to step into.
Yeah.
So it's not fully on Fields here that he managed to save this. It's actually because of he got a ball like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, if he keeps saving these breakpoints, it's becoming an even better story with every single breakpoint save. But no, he's not out of the woods.
Yeah. He gets another second serve. It's kind of the same point again, except this time Tsitsipas actually manages to make Feast hit a backhand, hit two backhands, hit three backhands, and he gets a little help from the net court, and now he's able to push Feast into his forehand corner. Ah, okay, so some better depth. I think that's
uh,
the thing about Tsitsipas' backhand is he's not going to hurt you, but at least he can get it a little bit deeper and just get a little bit more weight on it and more air, and then get the forehand that he wants. That's
yeah,
ultimately the goal because the backhand is a shield at the end of the day. It's not doesn't have to be anything more than that. And of course, we'll see if Feast can actually save another breakpoint. I mean, this is like 17, 18 for the tournament.
that would put him at 19, I believe,
19 now, yeah. So,
if he saves this
oh,
one.
and he does not save this one.
He doesn't, yeah.
Oh, and
So Tsitsipas breaks back, and we might actually be here for a while longer.
yeah, maybe this will be like the
Yeah,
match that we just did like 10 hours ago. And the crowd is starting to get more into it, and
now I kind of want Tsitsipas to win just in order for John's prediction not to.
Vidosa is really liking what you're seeing. Vidosa obviously here and watching Tsitsipas this week in the box. I think I
Really,
saw this tweet that there were many people wanting to get Badosa's autograph after the match again
yeah,
once it's finished.
I thought she was there for feels. So she really likes his game, simply, right? I mean, it's possible.
Oh man.
Yeah, maybe this will be like Shelton Garin earlier today. Giron.
Maybe.
He makes him hit a backhand again, and that
Yeah,
backhand is nowhere near close.
that's what you gotta do, man. You gotta hit it deep enough to make these hit backhands. Because even he, his backhand is a solid trait, but even he is not gonna hurt you with it. So you gotta make him hit as many of those as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good shot. It's just not what makes Fizz, such an exciting prospect.
Yeah, and we'll see if it ends up being a Felix or Aliassime situation with Feast, where
Not
he
to
has a
this
very quick
extent, I
rise.
think.
He has a very quick rise into the top 20. And then we see about 2-3 years where he's just right around 15, 20 in the world, and then one really awesome year where he's up to number 6 with a really good indoor run where he wins 16 matches in a row.
Then Vansh Vermani predicts him to win a slam the next year.
Yeah.
I probably do too. And then
I definitely thought a major final was possible. Okay, I mean, I really did. So
I
I'm
didn't, but
gonna go
with
that one.
Fierce, I can see myself doing that in 2 or 3 years, definitely.
Okay. Um, yeah, that time he gets a lot more on it, and it forces Tsitsipas to dance around the backhand and with a forehand that was very close to his body, and so he ends up shanking it. So he gets it to deuce.
Yeah, and if he loses this game, I mean, after that 40-15 forehand, that would be really tragic.
Yeah, although he finds a spot on the first serve, looks like he's gonna get out of this game potentially. Hmm. Goes for the slice, interestingly enough. Didn't end up costing him.
How did the scam situation, by the way, end up?
What's up?
The email scam email
Oh yeah,
hacker
yeah. It was fine. I just needed to
situation.
change my password, and
Mhm.
that ended up being
I accidentally said scam, yeah, because I had this thing a couple days ago, but I was talking about earlier today.
yeah.
Today, I guess for you it was.
For me, it was actually right at this time in the match where Giron was,
Yeah,
wondering his lead.
and thinking it could have been 6-5 in the second, yeah,
Yeah,
around that moment.
it's at that time.
Maybe we'll get the same scoreline. No, yeah. Wait, 7-5. Yeah, we can get the same scoreline.
Just saw this morning that
Hmm.
Fernandez did not win against Siniakova.
Oh yeah, that tournament I've barely been watching. Most of the time I wake up for something in Tokyo, and then I go to sleep again. And then
Yeah, same here. I've not
Nanjak
been
is
watching
games.
much of the WTA this week, quite frankly.
Yeah, me neither.
I just haven't gotten the chance. And the hours are really bad. And
It's
also
definitely one of the weaker
yeah, it's one of the
WTA
weekend.
weeks on the tour. Although Siniakova, Buskova, that's a great final, and honestly,
It
Mertens,
is.
Paulini as well, right?
Yeah.
It's Cluj that has a couple of unexpected players, I guess. Well,
It was
Ruse did
it
have
was
a
good
run
to
at
see by the
somewhere. Was it?
prospect of seeing the Schneider Fernandez final. And then, Buskova and
It's not that much worse,
and
really. If
yeah,
if
it's
it is worse at all, really, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not clear
I
that
think
this is.
I think I just get really fascinated by lefty versus lefty. Maybe because we just don't see it as often as other type of matches. Oh, we get a love hold.
Yep. Someone sent me recently a screenshot from a match when it was four lefties in doubles, and he wondered sort of how often that happens, but can't really come up with an answer like that. I don't know how to look for that.
Mm.
Maybe there's a way. I don't know.
All right, his first point of the tiebreak. Tsitsipas has to hit a second serve, and he misses the forehand that he definitely should not have missed. But, I mean, he's got the return somewhat deep, but it was still very central, and Tsitsipas had time to run around, and he should be making that. So he gets the mini break. Yeah, and he's man mixing up the serve really nicely again and hitting his. Actually, you know how we would normally say the old faithful is the one out wide.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually hitting the one on the tee supremely well. Yeah,
Yeah, he was also doing that against Layal quite a lot too.
yeah,
Usually you would expect that out wide serve from him there because he also has a good one on
yeah.
out wide on the outside, but he actually goes for the tee and surprises his opponents quite a lot with it.
Yeah, it's working really well for him this
Yeah,
week. And of
can't really
course,
speak for
I
the
mean,
very much, but I think
yeah.
there it didn't like fully matter as well.
Well, this is going to be tough now for Tsitsipas if he wants to win this match. Down 3-love, and he got two second serves to work with, two forehands that you would still expect him to make, and he's missed both of them. So this one was a close one, but he's not happy with that miss. Yeah, he gets the 3 point there, but Chelsea. One thing is for certain that we're going to get team versus Tsitsipas for the 11th time next week.
Yeah, and we are so close to getting it here, and
Yeah,
yet we didn't. But
and yeah, this time it's Feast who makes Stefanos with a backhand that he's uncomfortable with.
they basically forced us to have Tsitsipas team anyway, which I don't think we mind. But
Yeah, although
Hanfman
this
made
time we'll
sure that
see
it
if
doesn't happen, and then
although team, I mean, that would be quite something if he ends up losing again in the third set tiebreak
yeah,
or final set tiebreak, I guess. Never been really fifth set.
yeah, but still, yeah. Some of the best matches, some of the best tennis that he has played this year was against Stefanos, and yet he
Yes,
doesn't have anything to show for it.
correct. Okay, this is looking like virtually it's over because 5-1, 2 mini breaks.
It was also the early rounds, right? And
Mm. Yeah, the whole first week was basically Tsitsipas playing every day because of the rain. Five one, but Tsitsipas actually gets this return back, and we'll see if he can come up with something here, and he actually does. So he does get one of the mini breaks back. He hits an ace. Okay. Well, it's not quite over yet. He asked the question of fees. I gotta come up with something else to say, by the way, as a commentator. Like he asked the question, asked the question. I gotta come up with something.
yeah. That comes up a lot. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. I will come up with something better next time.
Yeah. Now I've been a little quieter doing something else, but
Yeah.
I've been also keeping an eye on this, of course.
Well, second serve. Yes, this time, he gets something short to work with. Comes in on the approach. Doesn't have to hit it all that well. Just has to get it fairly deep with a lot of RPM. And makes Tsitsipas come up with a backhand pass. And he's not able to because it's on the run. And we arrive at 2 match points. He gets the first serve and he comes up with the forehand volley in the open court and he finishes it off. Arthur Fils is into his second ATP final this year in his career. And he gets his biggest win on a hard court.
Yeah, and potentially also one of the two biggest wins of his career. Gonna play
Yeah.
Bublik in the final as well, which I think sounds very exciting. Doubt they have played
Yes.
before.
And then it's, welcome to the top 30, right? I mean, where is he at right now in the live rankings?
I haven't actually checked that, but
Let's see. I'm going to check the race.
sounds very possible,
The thing
Yeah,
about
at this stage of the year, the race is probably even more important. Yeah.
Yeah. Peace is 35 in the race. Bublik is 34 in the race. So if Feast does end up winning, he will be 34. No, yes. Actually, it depends on what Karatsev does in Tokyo. But there is a chance that he'll finish the season in the top 30 and be seeded for the Australian Open, and that would be massive.
And also, more or less at the same time, we also have Gael Monfils in the final at Stockholm.
Yeah, that is
So
his 34th ATP final of his career.
Surprisingly good campaign. Actually, has a final as well now. 34th.
Yeah, of his career.
Is it?
Yeah, he's won 11 titles, lost 22 finals.
Oh yeah, you're right. 11-22. For some reason, I thought he has a 32 against and 34 semifinal record, but maybe he has a maybe he has a walkover somewhere there or something. But you're right. 11-22 is definitely correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and he will play Kotov in the final.
Yeah. Also a pretty unexpected finalist. Both outside the top 100, although not anymore. At least in terms of cutoff, I think Monfils might still need
Yeah.
one more win to actually get there.
Yes, but
Whereas, yeah.
very good result for Feast. Very good match by him, especially after he got broken when serving it out.
Yeah, and I really cannot say that, I really cannot say that Tsitsipas did much wrong here
Yeah,
either.
yeah,
He was really, for the most part, just playing high quality tennis as well.
yeah,
Some issues in the matchup with how the heavy forehand of Feast targets his backhand. And also there's definitely a bit of what was I supposed to say? I don't even remember what I was about to say. But yeah, definitely kept him guessing pretty nicely after getting that shorter ball or the um, just a more tentative backhand or a slice that didn't actually do all that much feels and
yeah. Tsitsipas still very likely to qualify for turn, given that he's well positioned at 6 in the race. But I actually do need to get going. I have to go get some groceries.
sure
Perhaps
thing.
some people coming over for lunch.
We
Uh,
streamed 2 matches today with Vanch. Hope you enjoyed both of
yeah,
them. I think both were really interesting, high quality contests against
yeah,
Shelton Giron. Definitely a huge story there with the comeback and the choke. You can also call it that.
yeah. And I was really excited for this match. I was eagerly anticipating it, and I have to say it did deliver. So
Yeah, yeah. It was certainly quite enjoyable. So at least this time the matches that we got to see together weren't disappointing.
no, yeah, it's good to buck that trend a little bit.
Yes, that's good to see. So yeah, we'll let you go then. We have our producer in the background I can see. So and he also said in the chat, "I'm back right in time. Time for you to share your tweet." Yeah, before we go, you should also share your tweet. Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, this was fun, and we'll probably do some other matches soon. So
Yep. Make sure to subscribe, guys. Make sure to tune in for more of these with whoever, Mivansh or someone else. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for all the comments and etc.
yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.